Hi everyone, I'm Ash, and I'd like to welcome you to Indie Insider. My guest today is Samantha. Is it Spano?
Spano, yes, nice
Spano.
Italian name.
Oh, I love that name. Well, thank you so much, Sam, for taking time out of your day to come and chat with us. We really appreciate it.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Oh, it's only a pleasure. Okay, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Could you just tell us what initially sparked your interest in music and how did you decide to pursue it as a career?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been surrounded by music. My parents would listen to all kinds of music. It was country, pop, rap, rock and roll, just everything across the spectrum.
Right,
So what really got me into it was just listening to the radio all the time. I was constantly listening to, the Disney songs from the movies and being in the car with my parents all the time. It was constant music. So I really was exposed to it all the time. And then I just kind of decided one day I wanted to learn it when I was really little.
right.
I really wanted to play piano. That was the first instrument I learned to play. And of course, I was hugely influenced by Taylor Swift, and I was just so inspired by her story and how she was also a young girl trying to make it in the music industry. So that's pretty much how I got started.
Oh, that sounds actually great. And you haven't looked back since.
Yeah, no, definitely not. It's the only thing I've ever wanted to do. So a lot of people recognize that. They see me, from when I was little and now I'm in college and they're like, wow, you're still doing that, huh? And I'm like, not planning on stopping anytime soon.
Oh,
So
wow. Give them a piece of medicine or something, give them their own medicine. Say, well, this is what I want to do. So deal with it.
yeah, just what are you doing with your life? Tell me.
Exactly,
At
exactly.
least I'm consistent.
Exactly. That's the way to go. And Sam, tell us, can you describe your creative process when it comes to writing and composing music?
Yeah, so I love this question because it's so different for so many people. So a lot of people I find they'll write, they'll write on their instrument first and they'll come up with a melody in their head and they'll try and match the words to the melody. But
Right,
I'm super lyrics first. Like I'll be driving in the car and have to pull over because I have to write down a lyric that comes into my head. And then usually once that lyric comes, it'll either start as like kind of a poem type of situation. It'll just kind of sit in my notes app and I'll go back to it. Or if there's like a melody in my head that I'm like, you know what, like that line goes with that melody, then I just kind of play with it like that. And then I usually go to the guitar or go to the piano and I try and come up with music for it. So
right.
my band has been really good at helping me kind of, through that process recently, because usually it was just kind of me in my room with my guitar, just writing my songs and playing them for people when I felt like it. But now
Right.
that I have people to collaborate with, it's been really cool to see how they bring my songs to life.
Okay. That's very, very interesting. Now, also, were you on the Voice?
No, I wasn't
Weren't
actually.
you? Okay.
So a lot of people ask me that too. They're like, why don't you go on those TV shows and stuff? I'm like, it's not really my thing. I kind of just I wanna I feel like when you're up on the TV like that, they kind of quick judge you so quickly.
Right.
So I kind of want to build my own reputation in the industry, as a songwriter, as a performer, not so much just like a singer they put up on TV.
That's true. I mean, and also I find, it's okay, it's fine being on a show like that. But then, you're limited to time. You're performing, I suppose, hours and hours each day. And I suppose it just gets to you, something like that. And if you don't get chosen, I suppose then it's like, oh, what have I done wrong?
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree. And it's so funny because a lot of the people that you're seeing, especially in country music, they were, like the runner-up on The Voice. They weren't necessarily the winner. Like I know Morgan Wallen, he was on The Voice and he didn't even win. And
Wow.
then, a few years later, he's now just killing it. He's like the biggest star in country music right now. So it's funny how things work out. You just never
Yeah,
know. But
it
but
shows
yeah,
you.
those just aren't for me.
Who are your favorite country singers or bands?
Oh, that's a good one. I really love Lainey Wilson right now because she just is absolutely killing it. She's like the only female in country music that's, like really forging forward and playing with the big dogs right now. She was
Right.
the only one on country radio to have a number one. That was a female last year. She just won Country Album of the Year at the Grammys, which is really cool. And I really love Zach Bryan's writing. I think he's just an incredible poet. So I think just dissecting his lyrics are really important. And I love Chris Stapleton. I love the way he goes about performing. So those are probably my top three. I mean, I listen to everything, but those are
Sure.
my top three right now.
So you prefer the old style country compared to the
Yeah, yeah.
modern day country?
Yeah, definitely. I love, Alan Jackson, that 90s country. I love Reba McEntire because that's also a lot of what my parents listened to. So that's what I grew up listening to.
Right.
And I've been told I'm an old soul.
Oh,
So a lot of my vocal ability and things that I write about are beyond my years, I've been told.
okay.
I try and write for my generation, but if it's not where my heart is, I'm not gonna write about it if it's not truthful
No,
to me.
sure. I read on one of your quotes, I would say, that you wrote a song at 11 and you were told, oh, that's only what a 30-year-old would write. So it shows you the maturity at that age for you.
Yeah, I think that comes with being alone a lot. I think, when you're in that awkward phase of like elementary school and middle school, it's like you're not really sure if you have friends or not. So
Okay.
I did I spent a lot of time alone. So I think that kind of helped me, like activate that creative and imaginative part of my head. And I was also listening to music that was written by 30, 40, 50-year-old people. So I was
Right.
drawing a lot of influence from that. So yeah, when I was, 11, 12, 13, I was writing about just like life and really deep things. And I'm like, I don't think that ever went away, but I think it's really funny to hear what I was writing back then and what I'm writing now.
And that leads me to my next question. Can you share a memorable story or experience that has influenced your songwriting?
Oh, wow, that's really good. That's a good, I've never been asked that before.
Haven't
That's really
you?
fun. Um, I think it's probably, like the classic breakup story. I
Yeah,
think it's like when you're in that situation where you're not sure what you should do, if you should stay with a person or if, just kind of figure it out, or if you should just break it off and kind of find yourself as a person. And I
right.
think that pivotal moment came for me when I was like 18 or 19. Because like my first mature relationship at that age, and it felt like super real. And then I just got to a point where I'm like, I just can't do this anymore. Like this isn't feasible for me anymore.
Right.
And I wound up sitting down, and I wasn't even like looking to write a song. I just kind of sat down and was messing around. And I was like, what would like an old, super old country singer write, like from back in the day?
Yeah.
So I started this chord progression, and I had this hook in my head that I had been sitting on for a while, and it wound up being a song called Whiskey Don't Work. And it's like my favorite song that I play live. I have a rough recording of it out on a compilation album that I did at the record label at my school. We have a student run record label at my college.
Right.
Um, so I wound up putting it out on that independent label, and it was just kind of an acoustic single. And people really started to love it. And I was like, this could really be something. So every time I played it out, the more and more people that I see, the more and more people are starting to know it and sing it back and just like feel it with me. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, it was one of those moments where you kind of turn your pain into pride. And it's
Right.
like, when you're seeing all these people just feeling the song with you as you sing it, it's really, really, really cool to see. So yeah, that's probably my most memorable songwriting moment.
Well, I find it very interesting because obviously people, they have different techniques in the way they write their songs or their music. And I just love it when they say to me, oh, I could be, as you just said earlier, I could be driving in my car going to the store and suddenly this pops into my head and that's got to come down into the song. I love that. I really love that. I think that's the best music you could listen to and to write because to have lyrics that are monotonous, it's like, oh, wow, this is boring. But different lyrics to different songs that mean a lot to the person writing them. I love that.
Yeah, thank you. And as songwriters, we appreciate that when we hear that because it means that we're doing something good.
Exactly. That's those the you're the type of artist I've listened to because it's not sort of computer generated lyrics or somebody else writing the song for you. It's you and it comes from your heart. So that's your song that belongs to you. And I prefer artists like that, because some people could relate to that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think that comes with the music I grew up listening to. Taylor Swift was as famous as she is because people related to her and they felt what she was feeling. So they felt like she was speaking right to them. And I was one of those people. So I always thought, like, if I could ever do that for somebody, like, that would be just the coolest thing. And
Yeah,
now it's starting to happen, which is really, really cool.
which is good. Well, that's excellent. And another thing I must actually ask you before I actually forget. Are there any specific goals or milestones you hope to achieve in your music career?
Oh yeah, definitely. I want to take this as far as I possibly can. I mean, I love to perform. I love to be on stage. I love meeting people. I love when they throw out a line that's like, I don't listen to country music, but I like that song you did, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So I want to, accomplish as much as I possibly can. I would love to travel and, be on tour listening to, meeting a bunch of people that are going to want to hear a girl from Jersey sing country music. I have a great group of people around me, my band, my family that are really supportive of that, and they want that to happen too. So I feel like with the songs I'm writing, I can make that happen. So I'm definitely shooting for that. And then, super big goals. The Grammys were just on. Like, how can I not like sit there and be like, oh, I want to do that, you know?
Yeah, yeah, why not?
Um, yeah. So, I mean, especially Lainey Wilson a female winning Best Country Album. I'm like, I want to do that. That's on the goal list.
Well, mark
Um,
mark my words, you'll be there. You will be there.
well, thank you. I appreciate that. I hope so.
You just got to think positive and say, right, if they can do it, so can I.
Yeah, definitely.
You've got that spirit, you hard worker. Go for it. Don't let
Yeah.
anybody hold you back.
Yeah, definitely. That's the best piece of advice anybody could give or hear.
Oh, well, thank you. I just, because you're a good person. You've got fantastic music and nothing should stop you. Nobody should stop you. Just carry on working hard. And then before you know it, somebody could just say, oh, the school's got it. And before you know it, you'll be on there. It's like, wow.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's
Just
definitely a lot of hard work, but I'm further now than I was last year, and hopefully I can say that in the next few
okay.
years too.
Oh, well, I'll take my hat off to you. Just keep on doing what you do.
Thank you.
And with your album and that, do you have a favorite song that you've worked on and what makes it special to you?
Favorite song that I've worked on. Um, probably the song that I have out. It's called The Angel.
Okay.
I wrote it when I was about 17, and it was about being in a relationship with somebody in law enforcement and how that can kind of be taxing for everybody. And being the family of law enforcement is kind of taxing. And the song is really serious and very emotional. But it was the song that we had the most fun recording because I wanted there to be kind of like radio static in the background of kind of like
Ooh.
calls as if you were like on the radio with like a dispatcher or something like that.
Oh, nice.
So we wound up using like a vintage 1950s microphone to kind of get that grainy sound. And we had one of the interns at Omni Sound Studios in Nashville. We had one of the interns come in and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna write you like a script and you're gonna say this as if you're like a cop sitting in a cop car and it's gonna play in the back of the song." And we were just saying the most ridiculous things. It was like, I'm gonna need a cheeseburger and a milkshake. I'm about to take my break. Like it was the most serious song I ever could have written. And when I was doing the vocals, I was very emotional. I was like, this song is, it's hitting me in
Right.
the heartstrings. And then once we started doing like all of these extra vocals, we just could not stop laughing. We couldn't get it done. Like we just were in the booth just cracking up because then
Oh,
we let the intern he like just get more comfortable and I'm like, hey, like just say whatever you want. And he was coming up with some crazy stuff. We're talking about Whataburger because I've never been to a Whataburger and apparently that's a big thing in the South.
right.
um So yeah, we had a really fun time recording that, which is really, if you go and listen to it, you can hear kind of like radio calls going back and forth in the back. But yeah, that was pretty fun. That's
Oh, I'm
definitely a memory
actually
for
I'm
me.
going to do that as soon as we finished our conversation. I'm going to go onto YouTube and look for that song because I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, the stuff in the song is a lot more serious than what we were coming up with. So everything that got cut out, I'm sure, is a
Oh,
comedy. But but yeah.
oh no, that sounds actually very good. I can't wait to listen to it.
Thank you.
And tell us, Sam, do you have any rituals or routines that help you get into the right mindset for creating music?
I don't think so. I think it's just kind of as it comes to me. I know a lot of people have to have like a certain room temperature and certain lighting and stuff, but I'm very
Yeah,
much just like on the fly. If it comes to me and I'm obsessed with it, I have to write it. Some things I can put down and be like, all right, I'll work on that another day when I have time. The only thing I could probably say is I'm like a late night writer. Like I'll come up with a line during the day, and then if I'm really obsessed with it and I want to work on it, like I have to sit down before I go to bed and try and do something with it if I'm that,
right.
crazy about it. So I'm definitely one of those that stays up till like 2 a.m. just hashing it out. But yeah, that's the only thing. I'm not super like flamboyant with my rituals.
You just take it as it comes.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's the best thing to do. Just take it as it comes. You don't have to say, like, at 2 o'clock, I've got to do this. At 3 o'clock, I've got to do that. Just do as you do, you know? That's
Yeah.
what I. And with your performance, when you do live gigs, is there any particular venue or festival that hold a special place in your heart?
Oh, definitely. 2023 was such a fun year for us as a band. So, my band and I have only been together a little over a year.
Okay.
So it was really cool that we had so many opportunities for us. So we played Barefoot Country Music Festival in Wildwood, New Jersey, which was this huge festival. Like Blake Shelton played it, Lainey
Wow.
Wilson, Kid Rock, Hardy, like just the biggest names in country music, like past and present. And we got to be on one of like the little side stages. And we played right before Blake Shelton was about to go on. So Blake Shelton was actually taking the stage as we were finishing our set, and people were still at our stage, like watching our show, which was
Wow.
really impressive for us. And then the other one that was super big was we opened for Adam Doliak, who's an up and coming country guy at Jenkinson's right in Point Pleasant, and it was sold out. So it was wall to wall, just packed. Like you could barely move through the crowd. And it was just acoustic. Like we weren't even allowed to have a drum kit because the stage was so small. But all my guys were up there. My drummer was on a cajon with like his cowboy hat, just like straight
Oh,
chilling. And like it was so hot on this stage. It was like we were all packed in. The lights were super hot. We were sweating, but we had the best time. Like
that's
those two were definitely like top tier for us. Because it was even to the point where like the barricade at the front of the stage, like people were pushed up against the barricade. So I was super close to people and was getting
wow.
to interact with them. And yeah, it was definitely really cool because it was all ages too. Because that's usually a bar where it's 21 and over and it's just kind of older people, but there were some teenagers there that were having a blast, and it was just really cool to see people that I used to, in high school, like fight for the approval of these people. And then, being on stage as a 20-something-year-old, watching teenage kids like have a good time on the show was just like so rewarding for me.
I can
So
imagine.
yeah, so those two were definitely were top tier for us this past summer.
Oh, fantastic. Would you ever tour worldwide? Would you ever go on tour in different countries?
Oh, definitely. I would love to. I'm not super well traveled. I've only been outside of the country once. So I would definitely love to, go overseas. I think there's a huge festival called Country to Country, and they take all country singers and they put them on a huge tour around, like Ireland,
Yes,
Italy, all these incredible places. And I'm like, that's just like
you should go
that's
for that.
yeah, that's a dream. And I really want to go to Australia. I really do.
Oh, Aussie land.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like one of my number one places. And there's a huge audience for country music there, which I was really surprised to find out. Because even I get some streams down in Australia. Some people are listening to my music down there. So that's really definitely a thing I would want to do is to go on tour.
Oh, you must do. And if you do come to the UK, please message me and just say I'll be there because I'd love to come and see you perform.
Yeah, of course. That would be awesome.
Just to say, right, here I am,
Yeah.
to you. Now, here's a funny question for you.
All
If your
right.
music was an animal, what animal would it be and why?
Oh my God. Um, wow. That is a really good one. Immediately, what came into my head, just solely because of the song Whiskey Don't Work, is a sloth. Um,
Okay.
because it's very, like slow and drawn out. But I don't know. I feel like maybe that's a really great question. Probably, you know what I'm going to say? My final answer,
Yep.
and you got to hear me out on this one. A giraffe. And here's why.
Whoa, fantastic.
And here's why. Because
Uh-huh.
I myself am a lot like a giraffe. I am almost 6 feet tall.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
always being stared at when I'm out. And I feel like my music pushes the limits enough that it's kind of being stared at when it's out. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
fantastic. And they're
So,
graceful too, giraffe. So there you go.
yeah, yeah, thank you. So that's my final answer is a
Oh, I
giraffe.
love that. I love that answer. That's fantastic, honestly. Unfortunately, Sam, we're almost out of time. But before we go, can you just let us know and your future fans where they can follow your social media and get your music?
Of course. So I'm all over Apple Music, Spotify. That's just Samantha Spano. My Instagram, which I post a lot of really fun reels and posts on there, is Samantha Spano Official. And my TikTok, where I've been posting a lot of covers and original songs, is Sam Spano 7. And yeah, anywhere else you can just search me, Samantha Spano, on YouTube. I have some music videos out, which were really fun to create. So yeah, if you want to go check those out, just search Samantha Spano anywhere.
Oh, thank you so much. Honestly, I really appreciate it. I've thoroughly enjoyed our conversation. It's just, I could talk forever, but time is a limit,
Yeah, of
unfortunately.
course. It's been so great talking to you. You've had really
And
great questions.
oh, well, thank you so much, Sam. And I hope to have another interview soon. If you're bringing out a new song, I'm sure we'll get together again soon.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for having
Well,
me.
thank you for taking the time out of your day once again and have a great day.
Of course, have a good day. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Sam. Chat soon.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.